Misfits 22, Misfits Ring of Thrones. What a fight card. Crossover boxing is back with a bang after that one. As you would have seen, I was there for a lot of the fight week. I was interviewing fighters, speaking to them, getting their opinions, and they didn't disappoint with this card. Starting off with the main event, coming into it, Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold. Darren Till put a lot of pressure on himself. He was kicking off before everything, wanting to get a hold of Luke straight away. He couldn't seem to keep his emotions in check. I did pick Darren, but going into it, I was starting to think, is he letting the moment get to him? Is the pressure building? But boy, did he not disappoint. He absolutely whipped that left hand onto Luke Rockhold. Early on, to be fair, Luke started off with a real strong jab. He looked big in there, he looked built, he looked strong. And he was whipping that jab, and he did hit Darren with his left on one of them. And I did think for a split second, are we in for a bit of an upset? But boy, did Darren come back in, hit him with that left, dropped him to the floor. And from that point onwards, you kind of knew the fight was going to be over. You could tell that Luke couldn't take Darren's best punch. And that seemed to be the tale of the tape after that. I mean, kind of landed on Luke at will. What I liked about Till's performance was that he didn't just rush it. He didn't just go straight in for the kill. He took his time. He was patient. He was setting it up with jabs. And he was landing when the openings were coming up. He didn't rush it, which I really liked. And that stoppage looked absolutely brutal until done what he needed to do. Co-main event, Tony Ferguson with Salt Papi. Now, I got 10 of my 11 picks right. And this was the one that I got wrong. And I will trade being wrong for a Tony Ferguson win any day of the week. To see Tony drop to his knees after not winning a fight since 2019. I don't care if the guy he beat is called Salt Papi. I don't care. He looked good. It did look like a bit of an early stoppage. But I will say, Tony took Salt's best left hand, and Salt does have a strong left hand. And he took it, he walked him down. Tony's non-stop pressure would ultimately get him the win. He was walking Salt down every moment he had. Salt is a very counter fighter. He's waiting for you to throw a shot so he can throw one over the top, under. And he was waiting for that. And he landed it a few times on Tony. Every single time, Tony kept walking forward with relentless pressure. For someone like Salt, if someone's walking you down like that non-stop, it's going to drain your gas tank and you're going to really struggle with what to do next. And ultimately, Tony got the win. Like I said, stoppage was a little bit early, but I do think he would have got the win anyway. It looked like Salt was beginning to tire. Tony was never going to tire in there from what I was seeing. And like I said, I'm happy to be wrong. Tony got the win. El Kukui is back. I'm keen to see who he fights next. Now, the first MMA fight for Misfits, Dillon Danis versus Warren Spencer. I really wanted Dillon to win this because, yes, Dillon has said loads of stuff over the years. He's been a bit of a laughing stock, but people have forgot the level of grappler that Dillon is. He said all fight week, if it goes to the ground, it's game over. Warren Spencer even said, if it goes to the ground, I'm in trouble. That should have been your answer. When someone is saying that to you in an MMA fight, with someone who is elite on the ground, it's only going to end one way. Dillon showed that. Dillon showed the moment it went to the floor, he choked him out with guillotine straight away. Warren tapped. Good night, Vienna, and that's all she wrote for it. I'm keen to see what they do with Dillon now. He's hinted at a Tony Ferguson fight. I kind of want to see Tony just box from now. I will be honest. However, an MMA fight with Dillon would be quite good because Dillon's not the best on the feet. I mean, we've seen him boxing. He's not amazing at it. But when it comes to a collective of martial arts combined, Dillon is elite and he is up there. So I was interested in that. But like I said, I'm happy Dillon got the win. I personally thought it was fairly obvious what was going to happen. And it did. But he done it anyway. Next was probably the most entertaining fight of the night. Joey Essex versus Numero. I wanted Joey to win. The judges gave him the win. Do I think he won? I'm not too sure. I personally saw it a bit more of a draw. But ultimately, that fight was the most entertaining, and that is exactly what Misfits is all about. Yes, it wasn't the best technical. Yes, you're not watching that for the sweet science of boxing, but if you're watching that from a Misfits point of view to be entertained, I can't see how you're not entertained by watching that fight. Massive respect to both men. They went back and forth. Both of them at different points looked like they were going to give up. They stayed in there. They gave it their all. There was not an ounce left of them that they can look back and say, I wish I'd done this more, because they gave everything they had. And to that, I respect them both. It was one of them fights. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time that I would love to see it again. I did think it was a draw, so I do think they should run it back. Will they? I doubt it. but respect to both because that was a brilliant watch. Next up was Ty Mitchell versus Sean Hemphill. And now this one had a bit of controversy. Some people thought Sean won, some people thought Ty won. I personally do think Ty won because it was a 10-round fight. Ty won 6 of them and Sean won the last 4. Now Sean came on strong, and if that was a 12-round fight, I think he might have got Ty out there because Ty was absolutely blowing after the 6th round. But ultimately, if you do what Sean did, where you give up the first 5-6 rounds, you're making it hard for you to come back. And I do think his game plan was to let Ty tire, because the way Ty fights, he's very explosive, which can drain that gas tank. And look, Ty's never gone past 6 rounds. That's why a lot of boxers, they jump up rounds slowly. Ty went straight from 6 to 10. And it just shows you, no matter how many rounds you can do in the gym, the moment you're under the spotlight, it can drain you, it can make you tired. And I think we saw that with Ty, but one thing I will say, you can't knock his heart. He stayed in there. He was still throwing it in the 10th round when you can tell he was exhausted. And I do think he got the job done, and he showed that he can knock it with the top 15s in the world. The next one was Pardesi versus Ferrari. Now, I didn't know much about them coming into this, but one thing I will say, I wanted Pardesi to win. I'm not going to repeat the things that Ferrari said to him. It was a line cross. I don't think you should be able to say some of the things he did. Wanted Pardesi to win. And Ferrari, from a technical standpoint, it was not a good fight. Both men didn't look great. Ferrari looked terrible. He was just swinging from the hips. Looked like he hadn't really trained boxing in his life. Was a very much of a street brawl. But Pardesi got it done, and that's all that matters. Hats off to him. Fair play. He didn't crumble under the pressure, and he got that job done. Then we had the Cashman Anderson. He looked amazing. I can't sugarcoat it. He looked really good. I think this guy's going to have a belt around his waist in the next few years. I'm keen to see what he's like against better opponent, because I'm not going to act like I knew who his opponent was. But from what I saw, he looked good. He looked precise. He looked sharp. He looked quick. Everything you wanted a boxer, he seemed to have on the night. He looked amazing. Also, he has a confidence in himself, which I think you need to have to be one of the elites. And he showed that. And fair play to him. He got the job done. Brazilian, he fought. He showed heart. He can take a punch. He went down, got up. He kept going. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. And Anderson got the rightful win. Then we had Carla Jade versus Darren. I mean, not the best fight. The champ done what she needed to do. She got the job done. It wasn't amazing, but I think she got the rightful win. She dominated it. She looked a lot bigger than her on the night. She's done what she needed to, so I'm keen to see who she's going to fight next. Then we had Demi Sims, who, leading up to fight week, was an absolute pleasure. I managed to speak to her. She was super kind. I was rooting for her the whole time. She went in there, and her first fight, with the pressure she was under, I thought she looked amazing. I really think if Demi had picked this up from an early age, with Dad being her trainer in legendary Tony Sims, it could have been a real problem in boxing. She's quite tall. She's got quite long arms. Her jab was really good. Yes, there was a few holes in it, but ultimately for her first fight, she looked really good, and she deserved that win. Nadeshi Hopkins come in, she showed heart, she could take a punch, but she looked like someone who didn't really know what she was doing. She looked a bit stuck in the mud, her feet wasn't moving very well, and ultimately Demi took advantage of that. Got her hand raised, rightfully so. Lastly, we had Ingram. He looked very good. I think, again, on the pro scene, in a few years' time, he's a real good strategy. I don't know where they found him. They found these strategies somewhere, but they're looking very good. Ingram stopped him early, body shot, dropped him. He did not look like he was getting up. Fair play to the guy. He came in, but ultimately I feel like there was only going to be one winner in that. So from top to bottom, the card was brilliant, to be fair. I really enjoyed it. It felt like a true crossover boxing card. It felt like Misfits was back. I'm keen for the next one because Till with Carl Froch. Carl Froch seemed to have bottled it a little bit walking out of the arena, but we'll have to see. Whoever it is, I'm going to root for Till. I'm keen to see who they put him up against next. This card has opened up the doors for many, many more fights. That's all you can ask for. So let me know what you guys think, who you want to see fight. I'll be making more content like this. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.